So I, like many of you, have watched the Fallout show and absolutely devoured it. It's witty, faithful to the source material, original, and above all else, does a fantastic job of depicting this fascinating universe. And since watching it, I, like many millions of you guys out there, have wanted to go back and try Fallout again. I'm looking for a Fallout fix, and so I've been looking around, and of course we've got a few options. We got the original Fallout games, which are, trimetric top-down RPGs that are very old school. We also have, of course, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4, but we also have another game which many people have told me is way better than it used to be. And that's, of course, Fallout 76, which is what we're playing right here, right now. Now, I've actually gone back and tried Fallout 76 multiple times over the last 6 years since it's launched. And yes, it's been 6 years. Do you feel super old yet? I do. It's breaking my brain it's been that long. But yes, it's been out for almost exactly 6 years. And since then, the game's seen a lot of changes. And thank you to our sponsor, HelloFresh. I don't know about you guys, but I love two things in life: good food and not having a headache. And HelloFresh achieves both those things. Planning out a week's worth of meals and going to the grocery store with 2 kids is not exactly stress-free. And since I stay pretty busy, I like to be able to just not think about those things and instead just pick which delicious meals look good to me and have everything arrive pre-portioned with a recipe in the box ready to go. And that's exactly what HelloFresh delivers. Whether you're trying to save money, eat better, or simply stress less, HelloFresh is there to help you with all three. They are America's #1 meal kit for a good reason, and that's because you get all of the fresh ingredients you need for chef-crafted recipes at a good price delivered straight to your door. It is as easy as it is delicious, and frankly, it also teaches you how to cook well. I was kind of surprised at how much I learned from making really delicious mashed potatoes all the way to doing a really complicated, at least what I thought, salmon dish. It just makes it extremely easy. It walks you through step by step how to cook it, and the meals are delicious and will keep you coming back for more. Seriously, I love HelloFresh. I've used HelloFresh for a very long time. When my son Lachlan was born, it basically kept us going because we just didn't have time with a newborn to go out shopping and do all of that. So having the meals just show up at our front door so that we could just put them together was a lifesaver. I can't recommend them enough. The food's delicious. It's easy to use. What more can I say? Check them out today at the link in the video description box below. And with that link, you can subscribe to HelloFresh. Just make sure to use my code to receive 10 free meals plus desserts for life while your subscription is active. Again, click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals and free dessert for life while your subscription is active. When you hear Fallout 76, you might think of the internet historian video that went viral, chronicling all of the troubles that this game had, not just directly with the software, but also indirectly with customer service issues, the merchandise issues, all of that crap. Nobody, I would imagine, even at Bethesda, is going to argue that Fallout 76 was a good game at launch. The question is whether or not it's good now. And this is actually one of the few strengths of live service games, is that they constantly receive updates, at least in theory, so they should be capable of improvement and enhancement, and even redemption. Did you like that? Did you like me rolling my R? No? Okay, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. But what was honestly pretty cool about the reaction from Bethesda Game Studios to the core issues of Fallout 76 is that they actually went back in and tried to add in things players were expecting or wanted, which, credit to them where it's due. I mean, they, instead of like sticking their head in the sand and pretending like the game was perfect, they went back in and changed their minds about some big stuff. Most notably, the lack of NPCs in the game world. Now, this was something that I actually thought was really cool about Fallout 76 when it was first announced, and that was the idea that you're playing and exploring a wasteland. Like you're not actually exploring a densely populated world. You're not supposed to encounter many people. And when you do encounter people, as we've seen in the Fallout TV show, those people should be crazy self-interested. Everybody should be wholly focused on themselves, how they can better survive and make it to tomorrow, even if that means screwing over the people around them that they're working with in that very moment. And Bethesda kind of asked themselves, who are the most self-interested people? Who is it that could be an NPC in a video game while performing actions that are entirely focused on themselves with wanton disregard of everybody else? And they realized the answer: video gamers. It's us, we're the problem. So the concept was basically to have a game where every NPC you would see in the world was another player. So if you ever encountered another human being in the world of Fallout 76, it was going to be another human being. So if you traded with them or interacted with them, it would be like the bridge scene in Fallout, the TV show, where, you know, the two groups of people get on the bridge and they don't know if they should trust each other. So they try to like shimmy past each other because they're not really sure if they should trust each other. No spoilers, but that's what they wanted every interaction to be. Sort of this cautious engagement where you're not sure if you can trust the other player or not. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but it's high stakes. And that I thought was a really cool idea. However, when the game launched, inevitably they ran into issues where players would just grief each other. People would sit outside of like the vault and just wait for other players to spawn and then just grief them to be funny. And so they did a bunch of changes to make it so you had to basically opt in for PvP and stuff like that. And so a lot of players just ended up playing Fallout 76 basically solo, which made it just feel really weird. You were just a lone person walking through the forests of Appalachia alone without any human interaction. You would find notes from other people, you'd find things they left behind, but you'd never actually find any people. And while that might be accurate to an actual post-apocalyptic situation, it doesn't necessarily make for the best video game. And so Bethesda, to their credit, actually updated the game and added in NPCs. And while they may look straight out of the PS3 era, they are here now. You can actually talk to them and interact with them. They'll give you quests, and there's entire storylines and quest lines and campaigns to engage with from these NPCs. So they pulled a straight up 180 from where they started this game at, and that I think does deserve a little bit of credit. There are, of course, limitations. This is not like Fallout 3 or New Vegas where you can just do whatever you want and the game will adapt. Like in New Vegas, you can basically kill any NPC and the game will react to it. Famously, there's a console command you can actually type into Fallout New Vegas, which is like /kill-all, and it will kill every being in the game world except for you. And so you'll just have all of the quests say quest failed, quest failed, quest failed. And it'll take like 15 minutes of quest failed pop-ups because every NPC that was involved with every quest died, so they can't be completed, which is cool because the game actually lets you break it. So if you do something stupid and kill an NPC or whatever, there's an actual consequence to that. And in Fallout 76, that isn't the case. I mean, you can't. They are much more about keeping this on railroad tracks, which is sort of necessary. Don't look at me like that. They have to do it that way because there's other players in this world. You might be playing with a party, and just because you kill this character doesn't mean that other players in the server should suffer the consequences of that. I get it. I understand why they did it, but just understand this is not like a narrative Fallout game. There are still load screens, though. I will say that. There are load screens if you if you're looking for a Bethesda fix. They got you covered. But that brings me to the core question, which is, what is this game? Is it a Fallout game in its purest form? And the answer, frankly, is just no. You can see I'm level 10, and this is on my Xbox account. This isn't like a Steam version. This isn't my PC copy of the game, so this is not my most well-traveled character, but I haven't put more time in than 10 levels over the last however many years, simply because every time I come back to the game, I just end up playing it for a bit and wishing I was playing Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. I always get in here and I'm like, it's just vaguely similar enough to make me want to play those other things. But it doesn't give me the fix of what I personally like about Fallout games, which is typically the narrative stuff, the environmental storytelling, and adventuring and exploration that comes from that. If you're a player, though, that likes the MMO side of things, if you like playing with friends, if you like the idea of wandering the wastes and basically playing a open world looter shooter with your friends in a Fallout universe with a Fallout coat of paint, like, this is exactly that. This is going to be precisely the game you're looking for. I don't have any more ammo. Damn it. Booyah, level up. Booyah. Sucks to suck, ghouls. So all this to say, I think it's just really, really important to ask yourself, what kind of game are you looking for? I've seen some people in our live stream chats over on Luke Stevens Live, which you should absolutely go subscribe to. We're about to hit 100,000 subs over there, and I would love for you to be in that first 100,000. But I've seen in the chats of those live streams that we do, people saying that they love the Fallout show. They haven't really tried the games before, but they went to Fallout 76 and it's just not clicking for them. They're like, I don't know, the story was so cool, especially narratively, and I just feel like Fallout 76 has none of that. Exactly, that is like precisely right. It doesn't have any of that because it's not trying to. Fallout 76 is trying to serve a very different market of players than core like classical Fallout gamers, which is part of the reason it was met with so much resistance when it was announced, was simply because it wasn't a game any of those players, including myself, asked for. This was trying to appeal to a like entirely new demographic of people, and there are people out there that love it, which is part of the reason why Fallout 76 is going today, even still after the pretty rocky launch, let's just say. It's because the people that like this kind of game really like this kind of game and are willing to spend money and countless hundreds or even thousands of hours playing it. Whereas somebody like me, it just doesn't have the narrative fix that I'm looking for. But that's almost by design, because a game like Fallout 76 can't do everything for everybody all at the same time. And certainly not well, even if they were able to achieve it. And so instead of trying to do everything for everybody, they instead chose a few core things they wanted to do, such as having a massive map that you could explore freely by yourself or with other friends and players, while also collecting all sorts of loot and equipment and encountering little combat encounters as you go while you stumble on mole rats and stuff like that. It's not going to be for everybody, but for the people that are looking for a game to just kind of turn their brain off and play, this can be a great time. And to their credit, Fallout 76 does have a pretty solid end game with all sorts of high-level monsters and beasts to fight, and when you pair it with the settlement system where you can craft a base for yourself, even kitted out with all sorts of weaponry and laser turrets and stuff like that, you can actually create entire buildings designed to farm high-level monsters for all of the loot that they may give you. And this is where I'm at with Fallout 76. It's not a game that was designed for me. And even after all of the feedback and negativity and blowback they got from launch, they've improved the game and it's changed a lot, but it's still at its core is just a game that's designed for somebody other than me. I'm a player that fits much better in a Fallout 3 or a New Vegas or Fallout 4. This is not meant for me, but I can still appreciate what they've managed to do, which is to take a game that was previously an unmitigated disaster and turn it around into something where there's a pretty devoted fan base and community, and it's even breaking all-time concurrent player records on Steam. It's important to note it did originally launch on Bethesda Net, their own launcher, which was eventually shut down once, they were acquired by Xbox. They didn't really need it. So it's not super clear what the all-time peak was back in the day, but either way, there are still tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of players enjoying Fallout 76 for the first time or for the first time in a long time, simply because they've made improvements and because the Fallout show has inspired them to go back and try it again, which I think is awesome to see. Anytime there's a game that makes any sort of comeback, I think that deserves some acknowledgement and credit, because a lot of studios will put together kind of a disaster of a game and then just walk away from it and abandon it. And that's just really tragic. And we've seen that recently with The Crew, for example, where Ubisoft, after a decade of that game being out, just decided it wasn't really worth the trouble. So they just shut that game down and unlisted it, so you can't even download the game anymore, much less play it. It's kind of crazy. That's a whole other scandal, but they didn't do that with Fallout 76, which I think they deserve some credit for, because if you had asked any gamer back in 2018, maybe like December of 2018, where will Fallout 76 be in 6 years? Most of us would have put a lot of money on it being shut down and abandoned. So the fact that we're still here and people are still playing it and enjoying it, I think that deserves some credit, even if it's not a game for me. Oh, this guy's coming at me with a baseball bat. I mean, the game is still kind of clunky. One of the reasons, oh my God. One of the reasons it's not, oh my God. Just pick it up. No, I'm out of ammo with this gun. Jeez, man. I'm not used to playing on controller, I'll tell you what. What I was saying was one of the reasons why I've not gotten super into this game is because the combat especially, I'm sorry, doggo. The combat especially is just a little too laggy for me, because the creation engine is frankly not designed for this type of thing. it's just a little sluggish every time you fire a bullet, every time you interact with a menu, every time you press a button to harvest. There's like a fifth of a second before it actually registers and happens. And it's just enough for me to get like a little motion sick and nauseous. I know it's stupid. I'm spoiled. First world problems. I acknowledge that. But it's just enough to drive me a little crazy. If you're somebody that suffers from similar things, let me know. I also can't play like Doom because Doom makes me really nauseous. Even though I love Doom, I'd love to play more Doom. I can't because it makes me sick to the stomach, which is just really unfortunate because the games are awesome. There's so many little robots and I have like no healing because I don't remember why. There we go. We did it. See, but stuff like that, kind of fun. I can see how somebody might like to just turn on a show or a Luke Stevens video and play this game while they're just hanging out over a long weekend or something. I can see a version of myself that would enjoy Fallout 76. It's just personally not for me. A lot of you guys, though, are probably wondering where the more critical part of this video is, because Luke tends to be a lot more skeptical and critical of Bethesda than complimenting them for stuff. And I totally get that. I totally get that. I'm trying to be positive in this video because I do think there are things to give them credit for with this game, even if it's not for me. I will say, though, there are still things that I think are pretty egregious, especially in terms of how they've monetized this game. If you go to the menus, you'll see the Atomic Shop is listed. And in here, they have all sorts of paid mods, items. You see they've got like special moth sanctuaries, $7 skins, or I guess $5 if you get them on discount, taxidermy little devil, stuffed animals and stuff. They've got all sorts of stuff here. And while it's mostly optional and not gameplay affecting, there are gameplay affecting things present here if you put up the cash. Most notably, all of these things that are listed as unlockable with Fallout First. You see Fallout First Season Catch-Up, First Season Catch-Up, First Season Catch-Up, where if you have this, you like that one's listed for basically $15, $12, $15, $18. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what Fallout First is basically a subscription service where you can pay. Currently, it's like $6.50. Normally it's $13 a month or $100 for the year. And it gives you all sorts of gameplay affecting items and perks that you just don't get unless you put up the cash. Like if you want to sell skins or paints for power armor and stuff, I'm fine with that. I don't really have a problem with that. I think that's totally fine. Special like Pip-Boy paint jobs and stuff. Cool, who cares? It's when you're selling stuff that is like actual XP or actual materials, actual, as you can see, scrap boxes. This small box hosts unlimited storage for all of your crafting scrap. Included with membership in Fallout First, you must be an active member to deposit scrap into the scrap box. Like actual gameplay affecting stuff, which you just frankly don't get unless you're paying for it, which is just crazy. Like sell skins, sell all that stuff. I just can't believe we have to sell gameplay affecting stuff, which is just wild to me. Other features they list are like play in a private world exclusively for you and up to 7 friends. This one I'm more forgiving with because I know a private world or private server involves server infrastructure costs and stuff like that. I would say if it's a private server, just let me host it natively, like let me host it. I think that should be available to all players, especially in terms of longevity, or like say you live out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a consistent online connection or it drops all the time. Maybe there's storms and stuff like I've had near my house where we've lost internet service because trees knock stuff over. Like, why not let me just play offline in a private server entirely? Maybe that's something they allow you to do here. It's not super clear, but either way, I think that should be available to everybody, but I understand the argument behind private worlds being a paid item, at least more than I understand the other things. There's the scrap box container, as I described, which has unlimited storage for crafting components. I don't like that. It's a gameplay advantage that you get if you have enough cash for it, which is crazy. A placeable survival tent with a fast travel point, stash, sleeping bag, and more for basic needs. That to me is just like, again, it's crazy that that's something you get if you pay enough money. Like it creates 2 tiers of gamers, 2 classes of Fallout 76 players, those who can afford Fallout First and those who can't. And I just don't like that in online games. I don't like having two tiers of players, the ones who ponied up the cash and those who didn't. I think it sucks. They give you 1,650 atoms per month to use in the atomic shop. Okay, if it was just cosmetics, I'd be fine with that. It's whatever, like you subscribe for it, you get a discount on atoms. Okay, sure, whatever. And then an exclusive Ranger armor outfit plus unique icons and emotes. That's cool, who cares? And then you see if you're subscribed to Fallout First, they give you a coupon code basically to get a discount on other items. So this one, if you want to unlock it, you can see original cost $1,800 or $18 basically for these items you can build with. And then if you have any owned items, that would discount it. But if you don't, then you get a Fallout First discount of basically $5. So now you're only paying $12 for this microtransaction instead of the full 18. Like, you're subscribing for a coupon code to spend more money. That to me is crazy. So listen, there are things I like about Fallout 76 that I think they deserve some credit for, sticking with it, trying to improve it and fix it, and they have harbored a community, which frankly is really, really cool. I've been playing this game on a private Steam account that I use just for personal private gameplay that I don't want to get like blasted with friend requests on and stuff. And on that account, which has a very unique username that nobody would recognize, I have been approached by random players and given all sorts of items. I've had players come up to me and offer to help me explore the wastes, and they want to show me the best place for ammo or stim packs or whatever else. And I've been blown away at how supportive and loving the community of Fallout 76 is. It really is a special community, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for harboring that, and I'll never take that away from them. I mean, to have an online game which started off heavy in the griefing realm and to now have a really supportive and fun-loving community, I think that's great. And while the game is just frankly not for me, I can understand why players might enjoy it. I don't like how they've monetized it even still. I would have hoped that after 6 years they would have stripped out the monetization for gameplay affecting microtransactions, but I understand that's probably what sells. I know a lot of people probably subscribe to Fallout First specifically for private servers or specifically for the stash thing so that they don't have to juggle inventory management too much. But I see that and it turns me off immediately. The idea that like they have like an incentive to have my scrap in my inventory extra heavy so that I'm encouraged to go and subscribe to the thing that sells me the solution. You know, I just don't like that and it turns me off. So if you're playing it, awesome. I love it. I love to hear it. Tell me in the comment section below what you've been enjoying about Fallout 76. If there's anything you think is worth specifically checking out, maybe other people in the community will check that out in the comment section and be inspired. But for me, I am feeling the need for a different Fallout fix. This didn't really do it for me after I've been playing it for the last couple days, trying to gin up some sort of excitement for Fallout 76. It just hasn't really happened. So I'm looking forward to Fallout 4, and guess what? There is a pretty big update that's coming to Fallout 4 tomorrow when you're seeing this video probably, or today when you're seeing this video, depending on when we publish it. So make sure to subscribe to be notified immediately of when my video on the Fallout 4 Next Gen update goes live. But with all that, thank you for watching. I love you all desperately, and I'll see you in the next video. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.